So there's not a whole lot else to say about the syntax other than, I mean, just take it for granted. That's what it does. There's a few other ways that we can format our try catch blocks. You may see people have multiple catch blocks because we can filter our catch blocks by specific errors. For example, there's actually two ways I can cause an exception here. I can cause an exception as a format exception by typing in text where it expects a number. Notice on line 10 we're using int.parse and not int.tryparse. And by typing in text, this will throw an exception. That means line 10 threw an exception, which resulted in execution resuming on line 17. I can also cause another type of exception, which we've already seen, and that's if I were to type in 0, we get a division by 0 exception. With the try and catch syntax, we can actually pick and choose what kinds of exceptions we want to handle. For example, if I was only interested in catching a format exception, all I need to do is say catch, and then within parentheses, put the specific exception type that I want to catch. And then inside of here, I can be more specific. I can say a format exception happened. Now that I've added a specific type of exception here inside of my catch block and hit F5, if I were to go ahead and type in just garbage text that, as we know, will throw an exception here on line 10 because of int.parse, and hit enter, execution then resumes on line 17. We get a format exception happened. But what do you guys think will happen if I type in 0 and hit enter? Can anybody guess what's about to happen? We'll get an exception, but most importantly, we'll actually get a program crash. In this case, we get a program crash because divide by 0 exception is not being handled anywhere. We have made this catch block explicit about what kind of exception it can handle, a format exception, and a format exception is not a divide by 0 exception, which means that this catch block has absolutely no effect anymore when dealing with divide by 0 exceptions. Now I can do two things. I can either remove the type specification of my catch block, which results in it catching everything, or I can add another catch block that has a different message depending on what kind of exception was caught. So now if I hit F5 and I typed in 0, it says the world has ended, but the important thing is the program didn't crash. And that's very important.